All right, so today, again, our objective is to find missing sides of right triangles using trigonometry. Now, by a show of hands, who thinks trigonometry is going to be hard? Kind of sounds like it could be, but my goal is to make it not hard. All right? So, as long as you're awake and you're not listening to music, you'll be all right. So, here we go. So, make sure you write this stuff down. All that you see on the board in red. The very top, do you see this little zero-looking thing with a line in it? Okay, that's called a theta. It's a Greek alphabetic. It's a Greek letter in the Greek alphabet. Okay, theta. All that means is that's the missing angle. Okay, or the starting angle. Wherever it's like x, literally, but it's an angle x. So we use a different letter. Okay, a Greek letter. So write that down somewhere up. You could write it right there or off to the side, wherever in red. And then here's something you may not have known. A triangle has three sides. Yep, I know. Surprise. Oh, but thank you. So one of those three sides is called a hypotenuse, and it's across from the 90. Write that down. Okay. So here's my 90 across from it, hypotenuse, right? Adjacent. Do y'all remember that word from earlier in this school year? What does adjacent mean? Next to something, like my next door neighbor is adjacent. Okay, so that, and it makes sense that if here's my theta, adjacent is the side right next to it. Okay, and then opposite means opposite, across, right? So those are your three sides, and make sure has everyone written these three definitions down? Thumbs up, thumbs down. Okay, so here's what we're learning today. Sine, cosine, and tangent. So does everyone see it on the left-hand side over here, right? So this, the way you say it is sine, the way you say this is cosine, and the way you say this is tangent, okay? Now, if you think trig's going to be hard, this part of it isn't, because this part of it is just making fractions. Okay, if you can put one number over another number, that's kind of what trig is. Okay? All right, so sine is going to be a ratio. These are ratios, which means they're just a fraction of two numbers. And sine is going to be opposite over hypotenuse. You got to write real small. Opposite over hypotenuse. Or people write it as O over H. That's a lot easier to write. Opposite over hypotenuse. Cosine is going to be adjacent over hypotenuse. Or easier is A over H. And the last one, tangent, is opposite over adjacent. Or O over A. All right, now if you just abbreviate OH, AH, OA, that's fine. Sine, cosine, tangent, okay? So all trig is a ratio. It's a fraction. You take those side lengths and you make them into a fraction, boom, okay? So I want you to notice off to the right here, it says, remember, Sohcahtoa, okay? So notice how sine was O over H, so that's so. Cosine is A over H, that's ka, and then tangent is O over A, that's toa, okay? So now, we're going to, y'all like to hear a good story, right? All right, so to help you remember Sohcahtoa, we're going to hear a story from Mrs. Marrero.
2 years ago, I slipped in my driveway on a pecan and fractured my foot, which was near my toe. So I basically broke my toe. and then I soaked it in Epsom salts and cold water.
So, true story, true actual story. Miss Marrero had one of those like scooter things. She was scooting around the world, you know. And Miss Marrero was injured, a knee scooter, and her toe was hurting. So when she hurt her toe, to make the throbbing nerve pain go away, she had to soak her toe. She had to Sohcahtoa. And I drew a little ditty. Got a Sohcahtoa. You got to make your big old toe fit in that. Yes. If you can hold it, that'd be cool. But unless you can do it real quick, because it's a lot of new stuff. That's why. Okay. So, all right. So here we go. So Sohcahtoa will help you be able to do these. Okay. So look at over here off to the right. We have sine, cosine, and tangent, right? So does everyone see the way they're abbreviated? Sine is abbreviated SIN, okay? Now, you don't actually say sin, okay? If you do, I know what you mean. It's not a big deal, but it really means sine. It's an abbreviation, okay? Cosine is abbreviated as COS, cos, okay? You don't have to say cos, even if it's not a cos word. It stands for cosine, and then tan really is tangent, okay? What do you call a math teacher on the beach in the summer? A tangent. Like a gentleman? Thank you for that laugh. All right, so sine P. Now here's the deal. Whatever comes after the trig, sine, this letter, P, is my theta. That's my angle that I'm going to start at. So everybody, go over to P, and I want you to put an arc there. Okay? And you're going to have to get really good at doing this. We need to label all three sides as O, H, and A. Okay? All right, so everyone's looking up here? So, from P, you need to label O, and O means opposite, right? So what I like to do is from my starting angle, draw an arrow across, and that's going to be my O. So put an O there. Okay? And then starting at 90, what do you always call the thing across from 90? Hypotenuse, H. So if I labeled O and H, my leftover is A for adjacent. Okay, so could you label OH and A on a triangle? Across from the angle is O, across from the 90 is H, and the leftover one is A, OHA, okay? If you can label them, then this is not going to be that bad, okay? So, everybody, the first one says sine P. Now, y'all remember Sohcahtoa, sine stands for what over what? Opposite over hypotenuse, so O over H. Since I labeled it, all I got to do is look at what I labeled. What's O? 16. What's H? 20. All right? So I'm going to write 16 over 20. And what is 16 over 20 reduced to? 4 over 5. Yep. Let's backtrack. What did I just do? Okay? And remember, I might call on you soon, so you want to know what we're doing, right? So sine is what over what? Right here. Sine, O over H, right? So that's why I wrote the O number and then the H number. So 16 over 20, and then I reduce it, okay? So now the next one, it says COS, cosine. What does it say right here for cosine? What over what? What does it say? Over. So A over H. So what's A and what's H? This number right here. Over 12 over 20. Very good. So 12 over 20. And then again, reduce it and we get 3 over 5. So, that's cosine. tangent, let's remember, Sohcahtoa, T-O-A, okay? O over A for tangent is what over what? 16 over 12. What is 16 over 12 reduced to? 4 over 3. All right? Now, if you labeled OHA, then this is not that bad. You're just kind of remembering Sohcahtoa, what over what, write it down, reduce it if you can. But what if we change the angle? Okay? So look at the next one to the right. What does this say? Sine and cosine tangent of what? Does everyone see that the P is now a Q? So we're going to start back over and label O, H, and A starting at what letter? Q. Now I'm going to do this in blue. So at Q, I want you to make an arc for that angle. Okay? Everyone's doing this? Right? So at Q, put an arc, and we're going to label O, H, and A all over again. So if I'm starting at Q, what's my new O? 12. So that means 12 is no longer A. You should cross that old A out and put an O there, okay? So here's my O. Does H ever change? What does H mean? Across from what? Right here. Hypotenuse means across from the 90. 90 is never going to move, so H actually never changes, okay? But since O changed, what's this down here going to be? O, H, and then A. When you change your theta, when you change your angle that you start at, O and A are going to change, okay? So if you want to know a little trick, a little rule, when your angles change, O and A switch places when you're doing the trigonometry, okay? So let's talk about that. Sine of Q, okay? Who thinks they can't do this? All right, so let's start with sine stands for what over what? Well, you'll help me. I'll help you. Sine means what over what? Yeah, so we just labeled this, so what's opposite, what's hypotenuse? So we labeled O, so this number next to it is, and then H is, that's it so far. And then we reduce it, 3 over 5. All right. Anybody on that side of the room not think they could do this on their own? Do you understand this? You sure? Then you can help me do it. Cosine is what? What over what? Like over here. A over H. So what is A? Right here. 16. H is 20. Yeah, 16 over 20 equals 4 over 5. All right. Anyone else think they could never do this in their lifetime? All right, so you got this. Tan stands for what? So always think Sohcahtoa. There's my T, so it's O over A. Right? So if I'm doing O over A, I just got to look at what's O and what's A. So what's O? Oh, well, sorry. O over A. So O is what? Right. So here's the deal. Yeah, these were P's. We did those in red, but for Q, I'm doing it in blue because I had to change my angle, which changes my O and A. So yeah, my new O is 12. My new A is 16. So it's 12 over 16. Which reduces to 3 over 4, I believe. Okay? Okay, now, again, you gotta be straight with me in the sense of, if you're not getting it, I want to make sure you get it, so we're going to do another round of this, okay? Now, number 1, 2, and 3, sine, cosine, and tangent, what's the angle? What's the theta? A, okay? So I want everyone to put an arc at A, okay? I'm going to give you 10 seconds from A. I want you to label O, H, and A. Just like I did on this triangle up here, okay? So starting now, see if you can label O, H, and A real quick. In 10 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 2.5, 1. All right, so did y'all get it? Did everybody label O, H, and A? Easy or hard? O. Across from 90, H. And then the leftover is A. All right, so you should have labeled it like this. Starting at angle A, okay, here's my O. Across from 90 is my H. Leftover is A. If you can do that, the next part's not too bad. What's that weird thing that we need to remember when you look at this picture? Sohcahtoa. When you break your toa, you got a Sohcahtoa. All right. So, check this out. All right. Now you can see it. Yeah. There's a toe. There's the ice water. It could be anybody's toe. No. You can clearly see that this stick figure is very slender. All right, so number one, let's remember, Sohcahtoa, sine S is so, S-O-H, O over H, right? So what's O and what's H? Okay, so for sine, O over H is going to be 15 over 17. All right, now, someone in the front row here, you can help me with number 2. Cosine stands for what over what? Ka, right? So ka. A over H is what over what? Regular 8 over 17, yeah. I'm using the line as my fraction bar. All right, you might want to do number 3, tangent, right? Yep, you do. So tangent stands for what? Toa. What over what? Well, here it is. Look, tangent is what over what? Look right here. Okay, but do you see it right here? Tangent equals O over A. So what's O? What's A? So 15 over 8. Cool. Number 4. Now, everybody, look at 4, 5, and 6. Does everyone see the theta? The angle has changed to letter C. So for one triangle, you can get trig from 2 different angles. So they're just saying, using this one triangle, get all the A trig, and now we're going to get all the C trig. So here's what we got to do. Or do you remember what we did last time? We need to relabel this, right? So you're going to help me out, all right? So C, right, that's my new theta. Everybody put an arc at C. And I want you to relabel O, H, and A. So where would O be? Where would H be? All right, so I'm giving you 10 seconds. Everyone's going to label O, H, and A, starting right now. So pick up your pencils and label O, H, and A. So far. But wait till we get, yeah, there you go. All right, so did you label, now what's my new O right here? 8. So cross out that A, put an O there. Across from 90 is always H. And my leftover has to be A, which is 15. Yeah. So class, I'll say it again. If we change angles, O and A switch places, okay? We have a new positioning, so to speak. Okay, so let's see here. Does anybody in these two rows not know how to do this so I can help you right now? All right, well then, what would I put for sine of C? Sine C. What over what? Good. What would I put? Perfect. 8 over 17. Exactly right. Anyone else? How about over here? You want to help me out on the next one? Cosine C. Cosine is what over what? All right, so cosine is A over H, 15 over 17. All right. And then someone with glasses on. All right, so tan is TOA, O over A, which is, what did you say? 8 over 15 is perfect. All right, cool. Now, does every single person have a yellow calculator in front of them? Well, it won't charge it, but it should. So everyone needs this, because everyone's going to press the buttons that I press, because you will have to be able to do this on your own, right? So, can everyone get a calculator? Calculator. So I see almost everyone has a calculator, right? Ooh. Ooh, mine too. Yesterday was leg day. Do y'all feel bad that Miss Morrow broke her toe or broke her foot? All right, so here's the deal. This next part says use your calculator. You have to know how to type these into the calculator. So what I need you to do, okay, I want you to press on. I need you to go to a new document, number 1. Okay, do not save because I want you to have add calculator, a blank slate. Okay, not a new tab. I want a brand new document, please, because you need to know how to do this yourself. Now, look at your calculator, and do you see DEG at the top right? So right here, next to the green, or hopefully the green, but next to the battery. Does anyone say something besides DEG right here? Okay, that should say degree. If yours says rad, or that stands for radians, that will give you wrong answers even if you type it in right. Okay, so everyone's good. You have a degree mode. We would put it in degree mode if it wasn't. But what we need to do from our assignment, it says we need to find sine 30. So what we're going to do is go to our calculator. Now, do you see a sine button anywhere? Oh, yeah. So there's no sine, cosine, or tangent button, but they put them all into one button. Next to the number 7, do you see trig? So everyone hit trig, and we're on where were we? We were on number 7, sine 30. So hit sine. These bottom ones with negative ones, don't worry about those yet. So today, sine, type 30, and all you got to do is hit enter. What did you get? Is everyone actually pressing these buttons with their own fingers, because you will have to do this on your own and not be like, I didn't know what to do. Okay, so 0.5, let's write that down. All right, tangent of 45 degrees. Let's go to trig, hit tangent, 45, enter, 1. And then cosine of 60, trig, cosine, 60, enter. Bless you. And I got 0.5 again. Oops. Okay? Is anybody confused on how to type in trigonometry into your calculator? There's a trig button next to the number 7. Okay? Now, we've been doing all this stuff to lead up to these problems at the bottom. This is when we use the trig we just learned to find a missing side length. Okay? So if you've been paying attention so far, I appreciate it big time, and now it's time to really focus because you got to know how to do this. Okay? What we're going to do is we're going to write Sohcahtoa. Anytime we start doing trig, we should write Sohcahtoa, and I'd like for you to write it like this. S-O over H, Ka, A over H, and then Toa, O over A. I heard there's a new Dragon Ball Z movie coming out, right? So sometimes, you know, as a student, you know, life can be like an anime in which you're trying to defeat the boss that is trigonometry problems, and you kind of just need to power up, and so you got to remember to go Sohcahtoa. Anyways, so Sohcahtoa, however you remember it, whether it's like this or a Dragon Ball Z reference, you have to remember it. Okay, so Sohcahtoa. Now, here's the deal. You need to label O, H, and A, just like we did, right? Guess what angle we're going to start at? What? 55. Does everyone see 55 is the only angle you know that's not 90? So I want you right now to label O, H, and A starting at 55, and then on the other one starting at 60. I'm going to give you 10 seconds. Go now. Here we go. What did y'all actually do it in 10 seconds? I bet. All right, do it now. 10 seconds now. 10, 9, label O, H, and A. Start there. Draw an arrow across. No. The angle, that one. To there, and that's what? Oh, okay. Across from 90, that's going to be what? And then the last one is, good. Do it over here too. O, H, and A. Who did not do O, H, and A? Who did not do O, H, and A on both of them? Do both of them. 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 O, H, and A. Both of them. All right, you should be done. This should take like 2 seconds. All right, let's do it. From 55, did you label O across from 55? H across from 90, and A as the leftover. So what did you put over here on the right? Okay, O is 10, H is X, A is nothing. It is. It is hot in here. Oh. Can you turn on the fan? I am. Oh, true. All right, so everybody, O, H, and A. Now, here's what you must do. When you are doing trigonometry, there's 2 sides you know and one that's missing. So does everybody see? H has 25.5. O has X. What's here for A? Nothing. So guess what? A does not matter. Cross it out. Cross out A. And over here, which one do I not care about? O, H, or A? Okay, O has a 10, H has an X, A, goodbye, okay? So it's unfortunate, but only 2 survive, 1 has to go. But here's why, okay? The most common question I get for trigonometry is, Mr. G, do I use sine, cosine, or tangent? Here's how you know. You ready? If there is no A, cross out the A, cross out the A. That means tangent Nah. Cosine? Nah. What's left right here? S-O-H. O and H have to be S. Sine is O over H. Fill in this box over here. Right, so if there's no number, no X, no nothing next to A, you crossed it out, that's going to become a sine problem. S-I-N-E, sine. And on the back, we're going to see what happens if you're missing O or H, right? But for now, yeah. So here we go. Ready? Now we're going to set this up. This is going to be trig with a little algebra. We can do it, okay? So let's write down what again? What did we just say? S, right? S stands for sine. S-I-N. Go ahead and write that down. Okay? So we know it's a sine problem. We write S-I-N for sine. Now, after the trig, you have to put the angle. What angle did we start at? 55. So you write sine 55 equals, and now we're going to do O over H. Okay, so it's always trig, angle, equals, and then fraction. Okay, good. So O over H is sine, right? So O is X, H is 25.5. Now, class, to solve an equation, X needs to be by itself. Is X by itself? It's being divided by a number, and it cannot be divided by a number, so we are going to have to use the inverse operation, the opposite. How do we get rid of a divided by 25.5? Everyone else, y'all know this, right? If there's some division, you need to multiply to get rid of it, okay? So that's what I'm going to write. Times 25.5, cancel, cancel, and on the left side I need to put times 25.5. Now that these canceled out, I have X by itself. So now this is a calculator problem. Sine 55 times 25.5. I want everyone in this room to type this in their calculator. So let's go to our calculators. We're going to type sine 55 times 25.5. So we hit the trig button. Everyone's with me? You're putting your fingers to the yellow calculators right now. So hit trig, sine. Okay, so we're doing sine 55. Now class, this is important. You have to end the trig. You have to end the parentheses or press right. Okay? So sine 55 and the parentheses times 25.5. 25.5. Okay, so I'm going to hit enter, but sine 55 times 25.5 is, and we're going to round to the hundredths place, so that's 20.89. Okay, the third 8 makes the second 8, round up. So 20.89 will be my answer. What are my units of measure? Centimeters, right? Because it says it right there. So 20.89 centimeters is my missing X, okay? So again, we use trig when we know an angle. Maybe. Always label your units, okay? This is best practice. Okay? Now, you know what to do if you set up a trig and X is on top. But what if it's not on the top, right? Sometimes you're going to see X on the bottom of a fraction. Do you know what to do in that situation? Maybe, maybe. So let's solve one off to the right here. This next one. Again, which trig do I use here? If it's OH, S stands for sine. So everybody write this, okay? Sine, what goes after the trig? Okay, trig, and then the angle. What's the angle? 60, right? So sine 60 equals, and then we're going to do what over what? You, help me out. Sine is O over H. What's O? Over. Okay, 10 over X. So 10 over X. Does everyone see the difference? X is not on top. You can't just multiply to get the answer here. Okay? Now, let me get y'all's opinion. Do you want me to show you how to solve this the algebraic way with 2 steps? Or do you want me to teach you a shortcut that's 1 step? Okay? I figured you'd say that. Okay? I'm going to show you the shortcut. You can believe me, or I can show you later why it works algebraically. Okay? But here's the shortcut to make your life a little easier. Whenever X is on the bottom in a denominator, you can take this whole left side and this X, and you can just switcheroo. Really. Well, I'll show you. But again, let me say it again. The whole left side of the equation is going to go down to the bottom of this fraction, and the X is going to go to the left of the equal sign. So here's how I would rewrite it. X goes to the left equals, the top stays the same, 10 over, and then sine 60 goes to the bottom. Does everyone see how I just switched those 2 places? Because everyone's awake with their heads up, right? Okay, so you can, that's a step you can use. It's basically 2 algebraic steps in one, where you're dividing and multiplying. So again, so let's all type this in. Everyone, with your fingers, to the yellow calculators. 10 divided by sine 60. 10 divide trig sine 60. Enter. Okay, 11.55. What are my units of measure? Kilometers. 11.55 kilometers. Okay. Now, this has been a long one side of a piece of paper, right? Okay, so we are going to save the last 4 for next Tuesday. That means you have 3 days to not forget trig. Okay, don't forget. So again, we will do more of this as the days go on. We'll stop there for now.